Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to Spore World of Warships, and today we're showing off the upcoming Italian battleship line. I recently got the tier 4 Dante Alighieri, which I love the name because it reminds me of obviously Dante Alighieri, the Inferno, which is by far one of my most favorite books. I actually owned a copy and I loved it. It was by far one of my favorite books. And anyway, so we're showing off the recently upcoming Italian battleships. And yeah, the Italian battleships. So what makes them unique about the Italian battleships? Now, I do love the Roma. I think it's a fun tier 8 ship. But unlike the Roma, the Italian battleships don't fire HE, they fire the SAP shells. The same shells that the Italian cruisers have that all destroyers load to sea. And so, yep, Italian battleships have the same SAP shells. As you will see, this will be my very first salvo. Switch over to AP. Honestly, not needed. Now, this batch has a lot of bots in it because it's tier 4. And as you saw there, that Kuma just got citadeled with SAP shells. So AP is very much not needed when dealing with light cruisers because, yeah, SAP shells can penetrate through their armor quite readily. Now, the Dante Alighieri has 4 turrets, 3 facing forward, 1 facing back. All turrets have 3 guns each, and they all fire every 1.8 minutes. And overall, not bad. They're 305 millimeters. They have decent damage with the guns, 8,100 with the max AP shells. So pretty good damage at low tier. It does have a 36,000 HP, which is decent. It's not the greatest thing in the world. So it does have a deadly broadside of all the 12-inch shells. And as you saw there, that poor Kuma just got double-sitted by me, doing pretty good damage. So the whole gimmick of the Italian line, actually there's 2 gimmicks, I should clarify that. But you won't see the second gimmick until at least tier 8. As far as I know. First gimmick is by far the SAP shells. And the SAP shells are scary enough. Now, I have faced against the Columbia at tier 10, and I probably mispronounced that, so I do apologize. And that ship is very scary because the SAP shells can penetrate through the bow armor. And granted, they are 380 millimeter caliber shells. They can still pen through Yamato's bow armor with relative ease. So that's going to be probably the biggest thing. It completely negates all the bow in action, all the armor angling you can actually do, and just it doesn't matter because I fire 8 SAP shells at this Dante Alighieri, and this Dante Alighieri I'm pretty certain is a bot. As you will see, that is just charging forward and trying to get myself a little bit of distance. I am being targeted by 1 ship. Could be a bot, because like I said, this map actually has quite a few bots in it. But yeah. So one probably negative thing about the Dante Alighieri is the fact that when switching sides like I am, it does take a while. And I believe this captain's only a 3-point captain, so there aren't a lot of skills in it. Dispersion could have been better there. Could not take out that Svetlana, which would have been nice. Apparently it has very good secondaries, but they only have a 4-kilometer range, so do keep that in mind. AA is abysmal. Don't really trust her on that. And as far as the gun range, she's not the greatest, 14.6. Many other tier 4 battleships have 15 to 16 kilometer ranges, so definitely struggles in that part. But we do get a kill on that Svetlana. That's our very first kill. And like I said, this Dante Alighieri that's just charging forward is pretty certain I bought. I do switch over to AP. because I do expect I should be able to get a Citadel on this Dante Alighieri that is just charging me. Now the speed on the Dante Alighieri is nothing to really brag about. It does have a 23 knot, which is obviously faster than the... I almost want to say Wisconsin. It's not Wisconsin. But we did pretty good damage against that Dante Alighieri. Against the Wyoming. Much faster than the Wyoming. Guns do take 31 seconds to reload, which is alright at this tier. It's not the worst, it's not the best. So, yeah, overall, not too bad. Now this Dante Alighieri is just going to die to the fire, so I'm going to completely ignore him and actually start pushing back. Because our team were starting to lose, but now it looks like we are ahead on one ship. There is still a few bots on the enemy team. As you can see, they still have two bots, the Wyoming and the Gangut. There is a Kaiser, which I'm not particularly interested in getting with a brawling fight, but something tells me I will be in a brawling fight with it. So, yes. Tier 4, as far as I can tell, I've only had one battle, so I can't say too much about the ship. But it was kind of fun with this battle, and I did really want to show this off. But I will have to admit I am a little bit concerned about what it's going to mean in the future with the high-tier Italian battleships and their sap shells. First of all, battleships against battleships, going bow-in is going to be a struggle. Now, granted, the AP shells are probably going to struggle a little bit because they are much smaller caliber than any of the other tier 10s. I believe it is now the smallest in comparison with all the main lines, so no premiums. So it is going to have the smallest caliber shells, which does mean it's going to struggle doing significant amount of damage against battleships, but obviously against cruisers is going to be a piece of cake. The sap shells are probably where it's really going to be at. You're probably going to be firing sap shells a lot. It's probably very similar to having the Italian cruisers. Now, granted, we only got around, I want to say 4K against that Wyoming. So could have been better on that salvo. Probably could have tried with the armor piercing, seeing how broadside this bot is. Honestly, wish I had stayed with or switched over to this AP shells just to try that out, and actually ricocheted off that Wyoming, which is interesting. Now we are starting to get pushed against the Kaiser, and like I said, the Kaiser is actually a human player, and that is one ship I'm a little bit concerned about getting in with a brawling fight because its secondaries are far superior than mine, so do want to be a little bit careful, but I'm going to try to angle my best and see how well we do. So yeah, we'll see how the Italian battleship line will come out. I'm a huge fan of the Italian battleships, or of the Italian line in general. I think their ships are kind of sexy. To be perfectly honest, I really love the look of their Italian battleships, the Roma, the Julio Cesare, and I probably mispronounced that, so I do apologize. I'm apparently really bad at Italian names, but like I said, kind of love the look of them. Obviously, the Dante Alighieri is a lowly tier 4, so it's not very sexy in a lot of ways that the high tiers are, but it's honestly not a bad ship, as you will see. So we are getting pushed against this Kaiser. Our team is ahead in points and ships, so that's definitely a huge plus. All that's left on the enemy team is a bot in the Wyoming and 2 actual players, one in the CV and one in the Kaiser. And obviously we're doing pretty well ourselves. We actually have 3 human players left with a lonely bot. So maybe we should be able to win this. We'll see. Now I'm actually going to be using this island for my cover because I I said, I'm a little bit concerned how well we're going to do. As you can see, the Kaiser actually has almost 10,000 more points of health compared to the Dante Alighieri. Granted, he is actually ahead in points. He has more health than I do. So really don't want to try to preserve my health as much as possible, because I'm pretty certain as we see this Kaiser just rushing around the corner. Now at this point, it's really iffy whether or not he's going to come to my right or in front of me. Had he actually turned here and actually went around, he would have been better off. Because, like I said, the guns, granted, the first, second, and third gun turrets face forward, they still have to traverse to the other side, and I think that might have been beneficial. He might have been concerned about showing a lot of broadside. Now, this player is actually a decent player as far as I can tell. He doesn't rush around the corner, as you will see, because any moment now, M is starting to angle away, because obviously M showing a lot of broadside. Now, the firing angles on the ship are pretty good, especially that rear turret does face forward, pretty far forward, so you can stay fairly angled against ships and have all your guns to bear. Obviously, we are now proxy spotted, so he is aware of our position, and he, like I said, he is doing a really good job. He is not coming around broadside, charging forward. But as long as we stay angled, we should be fine. I do have AP loaded. I aim up at the turret, earn high caliber, and there we go, 14,000 off of that Kaiser. And angled, we only took about 6,000 points of damage, so not too bad. Not too bad. Now, obviously, the Kaiser has less turrets than us. Less guns than us. It has 8 guns versus our 12, so we do have a little bit fire superiority over that Kaiser. He did wisely angle in, but obviously with the fact that the ship can switch over to SAP, angling doesn't really prove that big of an issue for it, because it's going to be firing semi-armor piercing rounds of battleship caliber right into the bow armor of the Kaiser, so shouldn't be a big issue. And I just now realized our CVV is just rushing into D, has actually capped D, which is very amusing. There is still the 2 bots left on the enemy team, so yeah, our bot is currently facing off against the Wyoming, so we'll see how that turns out. Now, once again, this captain's only a 3-point captain, and so I don't have all the traits that I would like. I would probably, at least low tier, recommend getting a turret traverse, just to aid in getting your guns to bear, because it does struggle when you're making a hard turn, that it does tend to not follow when you're doing that. So recommendation in regards of a circumstance like this is fire when your enemy opponent is just fired, or just after he fired. Turn your ship and fire, and then angle away, just like I did here. I angled away to try to minimize the amount of damage that I can possibly take. Do have my last heal, am popping it because I have to wait for my reload. So close. He actually nearly got me here. But fortunately for us, he does turn broadside. We do have the semi-armor piercing shells, and there we go. Whew. That was intense. Take out the enemy Kaiser, and all that's left on the enemy team is the enemy Wyoming. And we do know he was at least an A, because obviously that is what is currently being flipped. But we did 129k, which is really good for a tier 4 battle, so pretty good at this moment. But my thoughts on the Italian battleships, I mean, I'm excited because it's always nice to try a new line, especially with the recent line that came out that's kind of a blech. It'd be nice to try something that would be fun to play. Oh, one thing I did forget about, the second gimmick of the Italian battleships, and I'll go ahead and slow this down just to give myself a little bit more time because this next level is going to finish off this Wyoming. My next thoughts on the second gimmick, the second gimmick of the Italian battleships is they have the running smoke that Italian cruisers have, which does give them the benefit of disengaging if needs be, but obviously smoke firing penalty is going to be playing a part, so you can't run and gun at close range. But obviously it does allow it to push in close against you as long as there's no way to detect it in smoke. So that is obviously the second gimmick of Italian battleships. So I'm excited. I think it'd be nice. I've been looking forward to the Italian battleships for a while now, but I'm concerned about how SAP's battleship caliber SAP shells are going to be in this game. But anyways, that is a quick look at the Dante Alighieri, and that's going to be it. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button, as I do not kill this Wyoming, leaving with 457 points of health. But anyway, if you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Side Gen.